Alright, how's it going today, guys? We had a live stream today getting things put together. I am going to be working on the biomass stuff. We haven't had any ethanol and stuff being made for a while since we stopped using this, which I have built a little building back here that we're going to be moving that stuff into over here. So doesn't need to be too big, just going to be a fermenter and a distillery, or maybe a couple fermenters. We'll see. So just a little tiny thing for our biomass distillation. I want to get that started. For one, we can always use the ethanol. Let's see, this one should be the one. So if we do it in the distillation tower, we're going to get ethanol, glycerol, methane, which methane we probably won't really need. We can run it through a large gas turbine, which we need to get made at some point. But we've got, currently, we don't really need it because we have that natural gas. Once we get a large gas turbine going, that will definitely change. Then we also get distilled water out of it. Main thing we want is the ethanol and the glycerol. The ethanol, obviously, because it's a biofuel. And then the glycerol we need for making glycol, which we will be using for making dynamite dust so we can blow stuff up. So we're going to get that set up kind of soon. I was planning on setting that up today during the live stream, but I had decided that for at least the first part, we're going to use the honeycombs that we have for making the honey. And I was going to set up 2 squeezers to squeeze them and use a rotational engine. This right here, which outputs KU to either side. So if you hook up just one, you're going to get 50% output. If you hook up 2, then you're going to get 100%. There's not any loss. But the issue being that the squeezer only takes power from the top. It will not take power from the bottom. So I can't put a rotational engine here and then another one on top. But there is a universal extender. I apparently can't spell that. Universal extender. There it is. But it takes 37.25 stainless steel because it needs a reinforced stainless machine casing, which is a bit more stainless than what I have available currently. So I'm getting ready to make the stainless for that, but I looked at the manganese I have right now, and I only have 35. And I'd like to do a full batch, which is 6 stacks of iron, which I got tons of, a stack of manganese, a stack of nickel, and a stack of chrome, which I've got plenty of both of those as well. And I've got pyrolusite, so what we were looking at today was setting up the mixer recipe with hydrochloric acid to make manganese chloride, chlorine, and water. And then that can be smelted and then electrolyzed. You can electrolyze it straight, but it's 64 GU rather than 16. So I was working on getting that set up, but I ended up having an issue with something today. I'm not sure what it was. that my U button would not work. Unlike this molten ferrous chloride, this page would not come up um, for any of these. Actually, any molten thing wouldn't work. But since I've updated, restarted my computer and everything works fine. So it's something on my end, not on Greg's end. Not sure what it was, but since it's working, I'm happy. But we did manage to, in the stream, get the electrolyzers and the smelters set up, or crafted, so we can set up doing all 4 of these. This one is a one-off. We'll get into that later when we need to make lithium batteries. So there will be a video coming out soon of me setting that up. I do need to make the mixers for the Pyroluce, but I can get a lot of the manganese I need out of the stuff we did from the tungsten. The other thing we did today during the stream, the major thing after the crafting, was I finally got my multi-smelter made. So this is currently running, making ultimate. I broke it down from the one that's on the server and the one in the video, which I'll link you the video to Net and I setting the one up on the server. But I broke it down just a little bit because that one has a 10, 9, 8, and 7. And I didn't feel we needed those. Like, I do believe the 7 is a duranium alloy recipe. This thing here needs 7 elemental duranium and 1 magnesium, and as far as I can tell, that stuff isn't on the overworld anymore. It's only on Mars with Desh. Or you can get it from a bedrock drill if you can find a Desh bedrock spot, and I'm pretty sure that's probably only on Mars as well. So the chances of us ever doing that is slim to none. I do believe the 10 was for doing ironwood. If you choose to do ironwood Greg's way instead of doing it the smushy way, which is just making this raw stuff with an iron ingot, a gold nugget, and the live root. If you do it this way, you need 8, 9, and 2, because you have to make the agmallion first, and then that gives you 18. I don't know where I would ever be doing that big of a batch of ironwood that I would do it this way without just throwing in a gold nugget, the root, or at least the root dust, and an iron ingot. It would be really nice if Greg would make this show up being able to use a nugget, so it didn't have to be an 18 batch. But that took out the 8 and the 9, and I can't remember what the 10 was. But long story long, I took them out, so we only have the 6, 5, 2 4s. The 2 4s, if I do need an 8, I can just split between those two. And then on this side, we have 3 1s and 2 2s. This sign got burnt off. I got to put that back on. It got burnt off because I didn't put in the stream enough ingot molds. You'll notice that these ingot molds are sideways, where these are set up straight because I had to chisel these, and I made these later. I'm probably going to have to extend this a bit so I can put the rod molds in. The rods are not going to be used very much. I may not even use them. I may take them out at some point. But they are mainly there because the only if I could spell and talk at the same time, the only real use I'm ever going to have for Signalium is going to be making the fine wires, and the fine wires need rods in the wire mill. And rather than having to take the ingots, put them in an extruder, turn them into rods, or throw them into a crucible and re-pour them into rods to be able to throw them in the wire mill, it's just easier to set this up to have a thing to pour them directly as rods. And red alloy is the same way. I will need it for fine wire and for other things, mainly regular wires. So ingots will allow me to do the regular wire, and rods will allow me to do the fine wire. That's the only reason why I do the extra set. But just so you know, this will switch from the rods to the ingots. It's got a pour sensor, which is what that one is, a off sensor right there for when it's done or emergency cutoff. And then that's the weightometer that makes it pour. The fire was actually from where I killed myself twice today, trying to figure out why in the world this thing wasn't working properly. And it was because of it. Ultimate puts out 9 ingots for a full recipe, and I only had 8 plate molds. So therefore it was only pouring 8, leaving 1 in here so it wasn't dropping it, and it was shutting off. So then I stupidly took this up to 2450, and then because we're running on natural gas, it wasn't turning off. With only 1 ingot's worth of stuff in there, it was able to heat up way too fast and it blew up. But I've got it all working. By the time I got it worked out, I think we had 36 in here. Well, actually, I think it was 34 because we lost like 2 ingots. And we've got a stack in 15 now. All working great. Haven't had any issues with it. I did choose to do a backbone kind of design. So each one of these have their own pipe to drop into, but then it has a black bronze to be able to fill it just a little bit quicker. It's not necessary. Regular brass works just fine. The reason why I chose to do this was when it wasn't working right. I thought that the 1 from over there was getting in before the 6. And so doing this would allow the 6 and the 1 to go in at the same time. So probably not necessary. Once I get this batch done, I may try it the other way just to see exactly how it works. But we now have that done, so we can make any big batches of alloys we need. I'll still use this one for stainless because I make such huge batches of stainless. It's nice to have it as a backup where I can use it and then still be able to do other stuff over here. Same with my Invar, my bronze maker over there, although I may change over and leave just this for bronze and change that to brass or something like that. Steel, iron, they're all still going to be used. This is just something for more of one-off alloys that you don't do a lot, but you need more than just 1 or 2 and don't want to do it manually. You can throw it in here, get a batch done. It's really nice, and I'm mainly going to use it for Ultimate because for anybody that doesn't know, Ultimate is one of the better pipes out there. Actually, rather than doing it that way, let's look it up. So here is the Ultimate ingot. Here are the pipes. So a regular Ultimate item pipe is step side of size of only 2048, and the bandwidth is 16 a second. So versus the brass, which is 32,000 step size and bandwidth of 1 per second, I can actually move 16 stacks through one pipe every second with Ultimate. So they are really good for like your main line for processing. I will probably change out down in the basement where we have the main line is black bronze right now, I do believe. We'll probably be changing that out. Yeah, this one right here, this is my main line. We'll probably be changing this out and at least some of this part here to Ultimate so we can get through things through there a bit quicker. But that is what we did today. Should have video here in the next upcoming week, setting up these smelters and electrolyzers so we can process up all of this stuff that we're getting out of tungsten, along with setting up the mixer, which I still have to get made for breaking down the pyrolusite. By the way, for anybody that noticed with the pyrolusite that it has uses for making alkaline batteries, you don't really have to worry too much about breaking down all your pyrolusite because you can always throw manganese and water in a mixer and make pyrolusite. So it's not a huge issue if you end up not having enough to make those batteries. Now, granted, alkalines are not the greatest battery, but they are pretty good. They're not, lithium manganese or lithium cobalt, but they're pretty decent batteries, and I will probably be using them. They're really good for like an earlier thing. Also, we're going to be setting up a way of making some electricity so we can start making a laser engraver, because we're going to need that for getting into the T3 and higher circuits. But I will let you go for today. Just wanted to let you know what we were doing here on the server, or on single player in the live stream today. Internet seems to be working a little bit better, still not as good as I would like it. So we should be doing more streams more often again. So y'all have a great day, and I will see you next time.